Hello and welcome back to another Disney Lorcana video. I'm Disney Dad Canada. You can call me Mike. Just dropping in for a quick one here from my mobile office. It's hard to find time to do this kind of stuff, but between kids baseball 3 times a week, some priorities that I've made at church, and just some foundational things in my life, and being a father of 2 young kids, time gets away from you, so you find an opportunity on your coffee break while you're at your job wearing your reflective, and somehow Tamatoa is on. That's sick. I don't even. How does that work? That's a setting messed up, but I guess I'm carrying the card with me everywhere. I'm definitely happy as a clam because I had a great weekend of Reign of Jafar set 8 release with my family. We opened over 100 packs of Disney Lorcana, and I just wanted to share the results for all my collectors out there. We're often interested in pull rates, the rarities, and stuff like that. And although many of these companies rightfully do not disclose their pull rates, we like to know where we're at with that kind of stuff and make some decisions. Going to quickly recap some of the interesting. Let's get back into here. You don't need my big mug the whole time. We'll get down to small. Yes. That's why Tamatoa was showing up. Still pretty sweet. Okay, so taking a quick look at what people are buying. And I still caution this in general because I think Lorcana is early enough on a collector's front that it is the players driving the market. We've had those conversations before. But it's interesting to see here on the front page. I've sorted by sets 5 through 8. And what's best selling according to TCG Player. I don't know exactly the time frame on this, but there's enough set 8 cards in here that it's worth looking at. So Namari seems to be the big winner. Steel is is a great complementary color for players. I don't think she's collectible at all, but I think she's highly playable. So it tells you right away that the players are driving the market still, and that's okay. I expect that to go on, quite frankly, for years. So that doesn't bother me. That's not what I'm collecting for right now. Tamatoa, I still need to get a couple of those. I'd like to play him, but 35 US, 50 Canadian, roughly. No, I don't like bending cardboard for that price. Maui Half Shark, certainly Ruby staple. Lilo comes in. I like this. I like the Lady Family Dog. I've got 3 for sale in Canadian Facebook groups because a market price of $12.76 for a rare card is bananas, and I don't think I'm going to play Churn a Dog. I don't know what set 9 holds in terms of whether Rapunzel will be carried over, but I have faded Amber as playable because I don't think you can be competitive without Rapunzel. So, and I don't want to pay the money for a Tamatoa. Happy as a clam. So that's nice to see as well on the Enchanted front. The market price is still 300 US. That's for a card that became certainly less meta relevant after the ban of Hiram and the oppression of Blue Steel, that's interesting actually that it's still. I guess I go back and forth with Cardboard Kingdom, my other buddy Mike there on this, but I'm not sure that the art is quite as collectible as some others. I don't know that Tamatoa is like. We don't have a Moana card yet. From a purely collector's perspective, it's nice art. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to undersell it. It might actually be one of the nicer ones in set 7. But set 7 has hit after hit after hit in terms of high quality art, and set 8 delivers the same. So I'm not sure. I don't know how I feel about that long term. I think once that becomes less playable, I think it slots lower than what people are expecting. So lots of legendaries in here. I've got Radigan Greedy Genius for 8 cost Sapphire cards, although uninkable Mufasa and his 4/9 Quest for 4 Ruler of Pride Rock. I prefer that card, and we see him down here, and that's just wonderful to see for my favorite card, my favorite character, and what I think is a truly collectible card. It might be playable in the next 15 months just with set 5 cards on the rise and rotation on the horizon, but it's really nice to see this card. This actually gives me a lot of hope that collectors are lingering. Stitch gives me a lot of hope. Lilo gives me a lot of hope that collectors are lingering. Yes, this is probably a bit more playable. I'm not sure what this is. I'm sure somebody can figure out a way to do it. When I read it first, I wasn't 100% sure. Looks like they've mixed in. I like Naveen on the rise there. Daisy Duck. I've been picking up a couple Daisy Ducks for cheap on Canadian eBay when I see the opportunity. Calhoun is down in price. Okay, so a smattering of different cards here, but a good presence of Reign of Jafar. People have isolated the ones that they think are going to be playable coming forward. They're also trying to get a hold of their legendaries for their collections, and just a mix of some other nice playable and collectible cards smattered in there. So when I look at this list anecdotally, the first 2 pages of TCG Player best-selling, I see probably about 80% playable cards and 20% collectible cards. That's how I feel about it. But that's more than I used to see. I used to see next to 0% collectible cards. So I do think I think Lorcana is coming. I think it is coming in the collector space, and I do think Fable is going to expedite that. I still think we could be a year or two away from proper collectible viability mainstream. Like, I don't think anybody's going to line up and buy out our packs, but like, I think this is coming to a head here, folks. And I would say in the year 2025, and specifically pre-Fabled, if there are, this is my philosophy. It's not my advice. I am not a financial advisor through cards. I love collecting cards. I have the disposable income to do this. I don't spend a lot, but I don't spend a little either. And I think this is really important for all the dads and parents out there that are listening and that like to tune into these sort of off-the-cuff, parent-driven collector videos. I have a separate bank account that I don't even touch what I make for my family. All of the money so this is the dynamic of a 42-year-old old-school dad. I make all of my money from my job. It goes into a pot. It stays completely away from my collecting account. I use collectibles that I own and have accrued over 42 years of being alive, and I have a separate bank account where I use to purchase my Lorcana, to sell baseball cards, baseball memorabilia, buy stuff, sell, trade. It all comes out of a bank account. Not one penny leaves from my normal working wages and my financial obligations to my family. So I suggest, I don't know if you can get quite within that framework, but if you can get to that point, great. If you have a collection to draw from that you've grown out of, it's okay to change. It's okay to be malleable when it comes to your likes and interests over your life. So I do take from what you have to get what you want has always been my motto when it comes to collecting, full stop. But limit, budget, guys. There's all of this stuff is going to be here for a while. But that being said, I think if you want a staple, collectible, by staple I don't mean playable. I mean collectible mainstay in Lorcana, I do think now is the time to buy. I actually think a couple months ago was probably the time to buy, and I did so accordingly. But now that I'm doing these videos every week or two, it's my belief and it's my action that we are at a point where Lorcana will boom a little, certainly compared to what it has in the past. Now I don't know to what level, but I think if you've tracked the numbers over the past several months like I have, and you've just felt the pulse of the collecting community, and they've seen the growth in the different channels, the different discords, the hype, the connection that's happening on a community level of both players and collectors, I do think we're primed for price bumps. I don't know if rotation brings that through. I don't know exactly what the marker is to make that, like set in stone that we go to another pricing level, but I do think it's coming. That's a bit of rambling, guys, but if you need Tinkerbell Giant Fairy like I do, it's probably time to buy her. I do feel like cards like that, I'm going to get priced out on soon. I don't think it's unreasonable that one day they will end up at Elsa level prices, and I don't want to spend $1,100 on any card, truthfully. So, I think it's a good time to do that. Excuse me. So just before we get into the recap of the hits, it's just to be a quick video. I post most of what I do with my family and the community on Instagram. It's been a fun way to connect. I've got, shout out. I think this week I wanted to shout out a few different people on the channel here. Aquaman does a lot of great videos. Mark, I believe he's out of Hawaii there, but great guy. He's set aside a lot of time for me talking about decks, talking about collectability. I think he's in the same mindset as me. He's just a much, much better player. So shout out to Mark. You should definitely follow Aquaman. I'm going to shout some people out on Instagram that I enjoy following here. But yeah, look, this is just me and the kids and my wife having fun on release day. We bought a lot of product. We pre-ordered it with 10% off on Easter weekend at a local LGS. So I used some store credit that I had from trading in stuff that I didn't need anymore, and then paired that with just some of my collector cash, and we got into it. So, the kids had a great time. They get excited opening these cards. Got some fun hits. So in total, actually, I guess we'll go. I'll start off with, this is my best hit of over 100 packs. It is the Namari Legendary. And it's the foil version. So that is the best hit of the bunch. In total, here, I'll bring up this. So out of 107 packs, and I just want to establish where they're coming from. So 2 loose booster boxes. Brutal, Mike. I need to correct that just for me. 2 loose booster boxes, so 48 packs there. A sealed trove case, that's 4 troves. So 8 times 4 is 32. 32 packs there. 3 loose troves just from smattering. Bought one later on. Actually sort of saved a lot of the hit rates here on Sunday. Bought one from a friend's place on Friday, and then some of my pre-orders and stuff as well. So that totals 107 packs. We ended up with 20 legendary cards. So that's a roughly 1 in 5-ish, 1.52, something like that, 1.15. 1 in every 5 packs, a legendary was pulled. That lines up quite strongly with some of the aggregate mass data that I've seen before. So 1 in every 5 packs, no matter where it came from, and I will say that troves were not kind to me. I've always been a supporter of troves, but they really let me down this time. But I knew that going in, and I'll get to that in sort of my findings at the end here, just my general commentary on the weekend and the pulls. So 20 legendary cards. We ended up with 2 foil legendaries. We ended up with a Namari and a Bambi. The Namari is great because it as you saw on the TCG player link there, it's the most desirable card out of the set from a playable perspective. Enchanteds aside, I filtered those out. But so I think this runs at roughly 40 US, which is about 55 Canadian dollars. So pretty happy with that when you don't get the enchanted. We did get no enchanteds out of it, but I did want to highlight this. This was the last trove that we did on Sunday night here. This was 4 legendaries. So there was 2 in 1 pack. I believe Bogo and Mickey were in the same pack together. So 4 regular legendaries and a shiny Bambi. So that's trove hit rates are random. And although I took one on the chin this time by getting 107 packs with no enchanted, when in past sets I've had roughly a pull rate of 1 in every 50 packs gets me an enchanted. So I roll the dice on troves for this simple reason. I think trove hit rates are seeded randomly. I think this is proof of packs like this. I've also anecdotally, and if you check my Instagram out again, it's the best box I've ever opened was a Shimmering Skies trove that had 2 legendaries in the same trove. I have yet to come across somebody that has got 2 legendaries in the same booster box. In fact, I would say it's near impossible. Anecdotally, I've heard that a trove you could open and get no legendaries. You could get absolutely skunked. And in some ways we did because we didn't get an enchanted. But you have to go in assuming the data from Lorcana pull rates on Facebook says that 64% of cases have enchanteds in them. That means 1 in every 3 cases does not contain an enchanted. First of all, that's ludicrous. I think that's crazy talk, and that should not be the case. There should be at least 1 hit in every. What are they? Are these like 450 to 500 US for a case? Like, I'm sorry, I do Canadian math, but that's crazy. That's a problem. To be honest with you, that's a problem. And they're solving part of that with Fabled with the epic and iconic tiers to give you, at least you'll get an epic hit. You'd have to think. So, yeah, we did 5 rare foils, which felt light, but that's 1 in every 21 packs, I think it is. And then 20 rare foils. So that lines up with the amount of legendaries. I might have been 21. I think I gave one to my daughter for a binder, but we'll call it 20. So 1 in every 5 or so packs, we were getting a rare foil. So what does this all mean? It means we had a great time. It means that enchanteds are really tough, and really, if I didn't value so much the pack opening experience, from a family bonding perspective and a deck building perspective, which is admittedly my second interest when it comes to Lorcana, but an interest nonetheless. I do enjoy playing this game with my kids. I'm learning a lot. It's a very fun game. I will probably continue to play it for the foreseeable. So, like, I don't mind having these bulk things. I don't mind. I've already started to set up trades on local Facebook groups. There's certain cards that I need that I'm hopeful I can trade from my stash. I've got a huge trove full of all of these cold foils that in time that I bring to locals when I go, that I often post, every so often on the Facebook groups here in Canada just for potential trades. Once a month I'll go on, this is what I've got, this is what I'm interested in, who's got what, and once in a while you pull out a fish and you hook something that's a really great card, and some people, and you find a deal organically through this community of just like good people. Like Disney people are good people. Like it's scientific fact. So here we are building our racer deck. That's the Amber Ruby one that we're getting into for my son there. I need a couple more cards. I'm going to lean into, don't tell the guys at locals, guys and gals, because I want to sneak up on them, but I want to do a Giant Mickey build centered around Hades and Giant Fred, and just drawing out early cards, Return of Hercules, drawing out Giant Mickey, so I can get him on the board and win the game. So I am sick of losing at locals all the time, and I feel like I play boom or bust as it is because I rarely win based on skill. So why not just roll the dice, see which cards play out, and see if I can play a 10 cost 10-10 Mickey with a quest for 5 with Bodyguard on like turn 5. Let's see if that wins. See if I can win. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, so what do I think of set 8? I really enjoy it. I think it's great. I think the art is phenomenal. I'm going to have to pursue some of these enchanteds. Like, we still need a Stitch enchanted. That has to happen. So I will probably wait until Fable hype is at its peak, maybe even later on, and just grab it then. It gives me comfort that Stitch has had more desirable enchanteds in Carefree Surfer and the Rockstar prize card enchanted, so I don't feel urgency on that. I'd like the price to normalize on it a bit. I don't feel like spending roughly this. I think it's the price of it right now is the same as the first chapter, Stitch Enchanted, so that should not hold. The art is arguably better. I do really like the art in the set 8 enchanteds. But even the Rapunzel and stuff, I'll the ones that I want for the collection, which I think primarily would be Rapunzel and Stitch, based on my kids' feedback and what I think is more long-term collectible. We'll wait on those, and we'll just see with the opportunity to trade or buy them when it comes down the line. But right now I'm looking into what set 1 cards do I need, which ones are potentially rotatable that I should grab the enchanteds now before they become meta price relevant for the next 15 months, and I gotta wait again. I don't want to miss out on what I think it could be a collector's boom in the interim. So yeah, so we're grinding here. We had a great time. It's always fun to share this love of this hobby and this collecting with you guys. Yeah, I think it's a really good time to watch TCG Player. What I tend to do is I go into cards here. I'll sort out the sealed products just to give me a little bit more legs. I'll choose the sets that I want. Most of the cards I own are in these 4 sets. I do have a smattering of other ones, but I think most of them will become not playable as much. So what can I sell? I've got 5 desperate plans. Okay, well, maybe I don't want a full play set, or maybe I can afford to sell one at locals or trade it away or stuff. This is the time, I think, guys, to trade away the extras and the things that you don't see that fit your collection. But I want to keep my goofy ground-breaking chef. I only got one of those legendaries. I think that's cool. I'm not really looking to sell or miss out on that. And it could become playable at one point. If it doesn't, it goes to 0. Well, I missed out on $7 at one point. Big deal. I bought 4 of these guys actually recently because I think that's a reasonably playable card, and that might be able to draw out my Giant Mickey if I decide to play that strategy instead. So making a few plays across the board here. I picked up some cheap Robin Hoods. I picked up some, whatever I can. I think it's time to sell some Giant Iagos. This is the kind of stuff. Follow this stuff, guys. Track what's going on in the market. Stay in tune with the different. Again, I like Lorcana Goons on YouTube. I like Cardboard Kingdom. Mike does a great job on YouTube. And join their Discords and their communities just to stay on top of it. It's nice to spend all this money on these cards, but there's nothing wrong with recouping some of them. And the best time usually to do that from a value perspective is in the first week or 2 after set release. So with all that brought together, guys, I appreciate you joining me on this video. I'll be back in another week or so, realistically, when I think of something else to talk about. We are planning as a family a Disney World, Disney Cruise potential 10-year anniversary trip late August, early September. So I'm super hyped about that. My wife is definitely more on board than I thought she was going to be. I think this is going to happen. I think I'm going to make it to Disney World for the fourth time in like 2-ish years. So I can't wait. And I'm just really excited about playing out set 8 here. Would love to hear what you got in your hits. So again, feel free to comment. What did you find? Were your pull rates any different? Did you get lucky with an Enchanted? Always like interacting with you guys. Had some great feedback on the last video, like 150 views, well in excess of the 12 I got the first couple times. So thank you so much. Really appreciate that. And again, the best way to find me is Instagram, Disney Dad Canada. I love this stuff, guys, and I really appreciate you tuning in. And take care. And until next time, all the best.